Hey, thanks for watching Four Color Commentary. I'm Mark Allen, and today we begin the first installment of a new edition called Star-Crossed Stories. And Star-Crossed Stories concerns that phenomenon within the comics world that began in 1976, called the multi-company crossover, or the duo company crossover, however you want to say it. But it started with Marvel and DC. And it began in 1976. And though I'm not old enough to remember the inception of the Silver Age, I've talked to older fans who have talked about the conversations that went on between Marvel and DC fans and what would happen if Superman fought the Incredible Hulk. What would happen if Captain America and Batman teamed up to take on the Red Skull and the Joker? What would happen if Spider-Man fought Wonder Woman? What would happen if Superman became a herald of Galactus? Well, here's the neat thing. All of that stuff all of those things have happened in Marvel DC crossovers over the years. And so the first one in 1976, I remember seeing house ads for this. Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man. Yes, versus the Amazing Spider-Man. Here's a little teaser tidbit for you. Spider-Man lays the smackdown on Superman in this book. At least for a time. Now, without giving anything away, I'll just say this, that there had to be some kind of great gimmick to make that happen if it was going to be a versus story, because let's face it, Superman would have wiped the floor with Spider-Man. I mean, this is the pre-John Byrne Superman. The Superman who's still godlike. Superman who is still overly powered. I mean, they had to work hard to come up with a villain that would give him a hard time. And so anyway, you had this great story, that this bit of excitement of course, the fight and then the team up. Okay, but you know a little bit about this wonderful art, this wonderful overblown amazing art by Ross Andru, the artist who at the time, and here's where the special connection with me comes in, is that Ross Andru was the artist on Spider-Man when I first started reading Spider-Man. And Spider-Man was the book, The Amazing Spider-Man was the book that I first began following along and trying to find the next issue and the next issue, and following that serialized storyline, and going to the grocery store or the drugstore and trying to find that next comic. And so I remember Ross Andru's art as being very influential in that Bronze Age era of Spider-Man and everything that went with it. Characters like Will-O-the-Wisp and the Rocket Racer and White Dragon and the Spider Buggy. These things were all fantastic to me. I still enjoy them today. And so Ross Andru, also having a background with Superman and with DC Comics, he was a great addition, or he was a great choice to be the artist for this book, written by Jerry Conway, who also had work under his belt for both companies. And so you have this great book, and you have, by the way, not just that stunning front cover, oversized Treasury Edition cover, but you have this amazing back cover. A great marketing, skill there on both their parts, is saying, whichever way a kid reads it, puts it back up on the shelf, front ways, they've got that cover staring out at them. Puts it back on the shelf, backwards, they've got that cover staring out at them. Either one, to anyone who knew anything about comics, would be a no-brainer. They'd reach up and grab it. I think that was marketing. I think that was done on purpose. But who knows? But 96 pages, or 92 pages, nice thick book, a good read. That amazing. Look at that, $2. Who wouldn't, even in 1976? What comics fan wouldn't shell out $2 for that? Well, of course, I didn't get a copy of it. Didn't get to read it for several years after seeing the house ad. But still, a great read, an exciting book. And what's so exciting about it is the dream aspect of it, that you've got these two characters as well as their supporting casts interacting. You have interactions not just between Spider-Man and Superman, but Peter Parker and Clark Kent, Mary Jane Watson and Lois Lane, and you have the two heavies of the book, Dr. Octopus and Lex Luthor, working together. You have all this great stuff, just making a great story, and as kind of a adding to the overall cool factor, this behind the scenes look at the production of the cover. 4 different preliminary images by Andru. And that just such a great finisher for the book and for the story. So just a neat, really neat stuff. I mean, you couldn't get better, than Marvel DC crossovers, especially in the day. It was something that fans just looked forward to. And for my money, at least the first four, and we'll talk about more in the future, but the first four were done very well, in my opinion, and I enjoyed them immensely. But anyway, Star-Crossed Stories, Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man. If you don't have it, go get it. Now, the original might be kind of tough to come by, especially in high grade. They're experiencing an upswing again, I believe, online and on eBay, that kind of thing. But there's been trade paperbacks done. You can find a trade paperback with the different eras of the Marvel DC crossovers. I have every trade paperback, and there's been a lot of Marvel DC crossovers done. But anyway, it's worth it. It's a great read. You older guys know what I'm talking about, or those of you who already have it, you know it's great. But anyway, it's a great read. Go out there and find it in any form you can, and just consume it and enjoy it and relive that magic moment when Superman first met Spider-Man. And by the way, thanks for watching 4-Color Commentary.